I'm kind of going back to who I was before I lost myself and redesigning my life and my business along those lines. And I've created a system called Fit to Thrive system in the recruitment industry, which brings a totally different approach, particularly in the tech industry, where it's heavily focused on skills and degrees and experiences and projects completed. I bring more of an energy approach, more of a coaching style interview, both to the client side and the candidate side, to align them on a deeper level that ultimately would turn into long-term fits and relationships above and beyond the work itself.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Big Hitters Podcast. I'm joined by a friend of mine from Dan Martell's elite community, Tom Hache, and he is a recruiter and starting his own recruiting firm, has been in the industry for quite a while, and excited to talk with him as he brings a completely different kind of vertical to this conversation. So Tom, tell us a little bit of your story. How did you wind up to where we are today, your background, and tell us about this, the company you're starting.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you, Andrew, for having me on. Pleasure. Yeah, it's great, the elite group, and meeting you in the elite group amongst the other giants in there. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic group to be part of. A little bit about myself. I'm a solo recruiter, 360 desk. My path is a little different. I spent my youth traveling extensively throughout Europe, and ended up back in Toronto about age 27, went back to school, finished my schooling in business marketing. After that, I just left Canada again, went to Mexico. I was teaching English. About a year and a half into that, I was having a conversation with my brother, and I was just kind of whining about not making enough money living in Mexico to support my life. And he mentioned a friend of his was running a boutique ERP staffing agency. And to talk to him. So I reached out to him and had extensive conversations with him.
And real quick, Tom, for the audience who might not know, what does ERP mean?
Well, that's enterprise resource planning. It's the backbone of any enterprise, financial system, accounting, but it also carries a whole bunch of other modules: distribution, manufacturing, transportation. So it connects the dots between these big enterprises, especially the global ones that have multiple locations. So he was in that space, and he said, hey, you could stay in Mexico, work remotely. This is 2010, 2011, before remote work was the thing, really. And, take me on a commission base as an account manager on the sales side of things, developing clients. So at the time, I really didn't even know what recruiting was, to be honest with you. But I said yes, because it was an opportunity. Coming from the hospitality industry, up to prior to teaching, I was bartending and working in restaurants. And then I took marketing in school. I was good with people, and I thought I could slide right into this. Turned out, obviously, to be a lot tougher than I thought. They didn't offer much in terms of training, but they did support where they could. There was a senior member on the team that I had extensive conversations with in the evenings, for hours sometimes, just about the industry. And eventually I moved back to Canada in office. And then when I got into office, I ended up sitting beside another senior fellow who was a leader at one of the big global recruitment firms that left to join the boutique for the freedom of the boutique style that was offered, lifestyle, I suppose. And I sat beside him for 6 years, and I was just a sponge, really. That's how I ended up in recruiting. Spent about 12 years in agency. I have to preference this with a little bit about who I am as a person. I came from, I was a party animal back then. I'm not going to lie. I drank a lot and I partied a lot, and I was used to that lifestyle, and I brought that into the sales and recruitment lifestyle. And I didn't become the recruiter that I always wanted to be. And I spent many, many years just chasing the almighty dollar. And that's who I was surrounded with. Had an incident early in the pandemic that changed my life, changed the direction of everything I was doing. I ended up, facing some tough challenges in my life. One was sobriety. So I went through that path. I got clear with my conscience clear. I went through therapy, spirituality, coaching, a whole bunch of stuff, which got me to this point today, which really changed my perspective, not only on life, but business, family, relationships, and how I approach people, business. And now I'm all about relationships and building relationships first. Um, I always believed, in stories move people more than bullet points. And so, I'm kind of going back to who I was before I lost myself and redesigning my life and my business along those lines. And I've created a system called Fit to Thrive system in the recruitment industry, which brings a totally different approach, particularly in the tech industry, where it's heavily focused on skills and degrees and experiences and projects completed. I bring more of an energy approach, more of a coaching style interview, both to the client side and the candidate side, to align them on a deeper level that ultimately would turn into long-term fits and relationships above and beyond the work itself.
That's awesome. So what are you spending most of your time doing these days? Are you just kind of pounding the pavement looking for clients? Are you trying to build out systems and processes? What's dominating most of your brain space?
First and foremost, I've had to take two steps back for one giant leap here, and it's all about aligning with the right clients now. I've created boundaries where I no longer work with the low hanging fruit to say I won't take money for the sake of money. I won't place candidates in environments that are toxic, that will be damaging to their career. And I simply won't work with clients that will not support candidates in the right way. So in doing that, I've actually fired some clients by raising prices and adding some ticks in my guarantee revolving around employee support. And so I've lost some clients this year, but I've gained some too. And I'm aligning myself with companies that actually provide a service or a product that I would actually use or invest in, which is a motivator for me. I want to help them on a deeper level. Not that I don't want to help everybody, but it's a lot easier for me when I really look at the product or service or what they're doing, the technology they're creating to help people, whether it's farmers in ag tech or dairy or transportation, that kind of stuff. So when I align, that's where I really dig in, and that's where I'm focusing my efforts right now. On top of that, of course, I'm building out systems. My flows. I'm pretty lean when it comes to technology. I'm a solo recruiter, so it's pretty simple tech stack for me with LinkedIn. CapCut and Canva for social. I do obviously ChatGPT, quite a bit of AI, but I mainly use that for research and filtering through stuff. Candidate outreach that I play around with. I'm still getting used to AI. Really love the tool. Still need to learn it and gain more experience on it to see where it goes. But more than anything, I'm really keeping the human aspect to recruiting alive. And I think that's the moat that most recruiters or all recruiters need moving forward, to keep that human connection alive, because AI can do a lot, but it can't do everything. Not yet anyway.
Yep. All right. Well, what are some of the challenges you feel like you're facing today? What are some of the things that barriers you're trying to overcome?
Well, for myself, first and foremost, was mindset. It's getting to a point where as I mentioned earlier, I come from a marketing, hospitality background. I'm very much a people person. I'm not a systems person. I'm not a techie. I, of course, use technology, but I'm not educated in technology. I'm not a coder. I'm not that. I carried a lot of imposter syndrome for a long time recruiting in tech, to be honest with you. So I had to overcome that, and sobriety brought a lot of clarity to me. It helped me really address some things that I was covering up and some issues that I was simply pretending weren't there. So doing that, I've changed my aspect and I focus on my strengths, which is people person, which is building relationships. So I'm all relationship first, build the trust up front. offer a lot more than just simple transaction, and go from there. That's the biggest issue I face in terms on the client side. It's getting leaders to slow down enough to define what they actually need. um, that's tricky to find the time to have those real conversations. It's a little bit deeper, so it's a little bit more time consuming, which is a hard sell sometimes in a fast-paced corporate world. Uh, but the ones that do slow down, and take the time to really get clear on what they need, so a recruiter can help them on a deeper level, and they, what their team's pace is, their energy, and so forth. Beyond the hard skills are hard skills, but when you take the time to slow down and think, and get clarity on what you really need and why, that's the foundational piece for a solid process. And then my system can come in and work that piece into two or three clear candidates that could really align. And you could hire with clarity and confidence from that point forward.
That's awesome. Let's talk about AI a little bit more. You mentioned in a previous call that it's really affecting the recruiting industry. You're using it, it sounds like, for some deep research. What ways do you feel like it's shaping the recruiting industry in general, positive and or negative?
Well, I think, there's both aspects. I think AI can do quite a bit. And I think there's a ton of value in the recruitment industry with AI. However, I think it's it's blinded some to the fact that you still need the human aspect. The technology itself cannot do front to back in a recruitment and a hire. If you want that quality long-term fit and stick, that pace, that energy in the team, AI just simply can't do that. It can't read the emotions. It can't bring that out of people. I think AI is exciting, and I think the excitement around it is great. But I think at the same time, companies have leaned a little bit too much into it when it comes to recruiting. And now they're starting to swing back the other way, from what I understand, into the old traditional recruitment firms, because of it. They're missing the human. They're seeing that the human aspect is not there. So, I've kind of switched gears since the last time we spoke, in a sense where at that time we spoke, I was starting to lose belief in the industry and myself. And there was a lot of chatter going around about recruitment, and recruitment's one of the industries that's going to be wiped out by AI and so forth. I kind of bought into that, and then I started digging deeper, and I said, wait a minute, there's much more that we do than just simple transactional stuff that AI can take care of. And that's the moat, and that's where we're going to focus on. That's where I'm going to focus on anyway. That's where I'm going to build my systems around. I just want to make the process from A to B for my clients to get that best candidate in that seat as easy as possible, because I respect their how busy they are, even in a simple conversation. So easier I can make it for you, and the better quality I can get you that person with that ease. That's where my focus is, and that's all I want to do.
That's awesome. What's one thing we haven't talked about today that gets you fired up or gets you excited?
I don't know. That's a good question. Just the future of business with AI. I think it's exciting. I think a lot of people look at it as fear. I'm excited. I'm a firm believer that there's always a balance in the universe. So as AI takes away from us, it's also going to provide so much more. And I'm really excited to see, not only in recruitment, but across industry, what AI is going to bring in terms of efficiency, in terms of health, and knowledge. The speed of knowledge to me is incredible. Just learning from AI, I love the way I could learn so quickly from AI. I'm excited about the future of our world as a whole. That's my perspective on everything.
That's awesome, man. Well, if people want to learn more about who you are and what you do, where can they go?
Well, I'm on Instagram, at Tom A. Hache. I'm on LinkedIn, Tom Hache. On YouTube channel, Smart Hires Only, at Smart Hires Only. And then I have a website, is www.talenthiringsolutions.com. Recently new to the social game, so bear with me. My content is getting better as I proceed, but having fun with it right now. And it's just a lot of talking head stuff right now, but I'm growing and evolving. So stay tuned for that. Website's being re-evolved to match my new system as well. So there's a lot of updates and excitement that I have going on with my little venture here, and I'm looking forward to steady growth moving forward.
That's awesome, man. Well, thanks so much. Don't go anywhere because I want to chop it up, but thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.